I prostrate myself before Govind, the perfect teacher who is absorbed always in the high state of bliss. His true nature cannot be known by the senses or the mind. It is revealed only through knowledge of the scriptures. Our question today is, why are we born as humans? And what is the true purpose of education? It is extremely rare for any living being to be born in human form. Even among those who attain a human birth, it is difficult to develop physical and mental strength. Harder still is the ability to cultivate purity of heart. Rarer than all of these is the longing for a spiritual life. And the rarest of all is the deep understanding of the scriptures. But what makes these things possible? Only by the grace of God do we receive the three greatest blessings in life: a human birth, the desire for liberation, and the guidance of an enlightened teacher. These three together provide the perfect conditions for attaining the highest truth. Yet, despite having such a rare opportunity, there are people who waste it. Some are blessed with human birth, strength of body and mind, even scriptural knowledge. Yet they remain trapped in ignorance and do not strive for liberation. Such people, the scriptures say, are like those who destroy themselves. They chase after illusions, clinging to temporary worldly pleasures, and fail to realize their true purpose. What greater foolishness can there be than wasting the rare chance of human life by remaining attached to what is unreal? The scriptures tell us that merely reciting holy texts, performing rituals, making offerings, or worshipping deities is not enough. True liberation cannot be attained through external actions alone. Even if a person engages in religious practices for thousands of lifetimes, without true knowledge of the self, they will not achieve freedom from suffering. The scriptures clearly state that immorality, true liberation, cannot be gained through work, wealth, or even family lineage. It can only be attained through renunciation, letting go of attachment to the material world, and seeking the eternal truth. The wise ones who have attained inner peace and practice deep contemplation of the self must give up worldly distractions and strive to free themselves from the bonds of material existence. This does not mean abandoning life itself, but rather letting go of attachment to external pleasures and desires that keep us trapped in illusion. Therefore, the wise person must recognize this and turn inward. He must stop seeking pleasure in external things and dedicate himself fully to the pursuit of liberation. He should seek the guidance of a noble, enlightened teacher and absorb himself completely in the truth that is revealed to him. Through deep self-inquiry and right understanding, unwavering discrimination and devotion to the truth, a sincere seeker will ultimately realize his unity with Brahma, the Supreme Reality. He must use the power of his own self to rescue himself from drowning in the vast ocean of worldly distractions. This is the true purpose of human birth. To recognize it, to strive for it, and to attain it is the highest achievement of life. Many people believe that performing good deeds or religious rituals alone will lead them to the ultimate truth, while right actions purify the heart and mind. They do not directly reveal the highest reality. The ultimate truth, our true nature, is realized only through deep discernment and self-inquiry. Imagine a person who mistakes a rope in the dark for a dangerous snake and becomes terrified the moment he shines a light and clearly sees that it is just a rope. All his fear disappears instantly. In the same way, ignorance creates fear and suffering, making us believe in the false reality of the material world. But when we develop the power of correct discernment, we realize the truth, just as we recognize the rope for what it is, and all illusions vanish. This clarity comes not through rituals, charity, or even disciplined physical practices like breath control or pranayama. Sacred baths, giving alms, and practicing breathing exercises may have their place, but they do not grant direct knowledge of the self. True realization comes only through deep meditation upon the right teachings, through contemplation and inner experience. The journey toward liberation is not the same for everyone. Success in realizing the truth depends largely on the qualities of the seeker, his sincerity, dedication, and inner readiness. External factors such as the right environment, time, and supportive conditions can help, but they are secondary. The most important factor is the seeker's own effort and clarity of mind. Therefore, the wise must cultivate inner stillness, practice self-inquiry, and seek truth beyond external rituals. Only through right knowledge and deep meditation can one attain the highest realization, the recognition of one's unity with the eternal self. A person who wishes to realize the self must be intelligent and wise. He should have the ability to learn, think deeply, and understand complex ideas. His mind should be sharp enough to question his doubts and resolve them through reasoning. Only someone with these qualities is truly ready to seek knowledge of the Atma, the eternal self. But intelligence alone is not enough. The sages have said that a true seeker of Brahma, the supreme reality, must have 4 essential qualifications. Without this, the journey toward truth becomes difficult. Now see what are the 4 qualifications are for attaining the highest knowledge. These are Viveka, discrimination, Vairagya, renunciation, Satsampati, 6 virtues, and finally Mumukshata, longing for liberation. Discrimination or Viveka is the first and most important quality, and it is the ability to distinguish between what is eternal and what is non-eternal or temporary. Most people are lost in the pursuit of temporary pleasures, wealth, fame, relationships, and material success. But a wise person understands that these things do not last. He realizes that the only thing that is truly eternal is the self, and he seeks that truth instead of being distracted by passing pleasures. Vairagya is the second qualification, and it is simply letting go of attachment to worldly enjoyments. This does not mean rejecting life, but rather understanding that chasing pleasure and success will not bring lasting happiness. A seeker must give up the desire for rewards both in this life and the afterlife and focus entirely on realizing the truth. The third qualification consists of 6 qualities that help in spiritual progress. What are these 6 virtues or Shat Sampatti? Tranquility or Shama, self-restraint, Dama, withdrawal, Uparati, forbearance, Titiksha, faith, Shraddha, concentration, Samadhana. Shama is simply keeping the mind calm and steady. Dhamma is controlling the senses so they do not run after distractions. Uparati, turning the mind inward instead of being constantly engaged in external activities. Titiksha, developing patience and the ability to endure hardships without complaining. Shraddha is trusting in the words of the scriptures and the guidance of the teacher. Samadhana, keeping the mind focused on the goal of liberation. And finally, Mumukshutva, longing for liberation. It is the final qualification and very essential one. It is an intense desire for freedom from ignorance and suffering. Without this deep longing, spiritual progress becomes slow. Just as a drowning man desperately struggles for air, a true seeker must have a burning desire to realize the self. Among all the methods of attaining liberation, devotion is the highest. But what is true devotion? It is not just prayer or worship. It is the sincere and intense desire to know one's real nature. A person who deeply longs to understand who he truly is and strives for that knowledge is practicing the highest form of devotion. Thus, a true seeker is one who develops these 4 essential qualities and dedicates himself completely to the search for the eternal truth with right knowledge, inner discipline, and unwavering devotion. He moves towards liberation and realizes his oneness with the Supreme. Before seeking education, we must first understand where true knowledge comes from. In the spiritual journey, our teacher is not just someone who provides information. He is a guide who leads us toward the ultimate truth. Who is a true teacher? A real teacher is one who is deeply knowledgeable in the scriptures, pure in heart, and completely free from desires. He is not just a scholar, but a direct knower of Brahma, the supreme reality. His mind is always absorbed in Brahma, and he remains calm, like a flame that has burned all its fuel and is no longer disturbed. Such a teacher is an ocean of love, helping others selflessly without seeking anything in return. He is a true friend to all sincere seekers who humbly approach him for guidance. Have you ever questioned the qualification of a teacher? Many people never ask what makes someone a true teacher, but why? In the material world, we check the qualifications of doctors, engineers, and professors before learning from them. Then why not do the same in spiritual matters, which concerns our highest truth? In spiritual terms, a teacher's real qualification is his own nature, his wisdom, purity, and direct experience of truth. So the great text, Viveka chudamani, describes these qualities so that seekers may find the right teacher to guide them on their path. Why should we educate ourselves spiritually? Spiritual education is not just about personal growth, it is about understanding the suffering of all beings. When we free ourselves from ignorance and suffering, we can help others do the same. But first, we must lift ourselves up. Only when we have found inner peace can we offer a helping hand to others. Liberation begins with our own decisions. I want peace. I want truth. So what is the nature of great souls? There are pure souls who have attained peace and wisdom. They bring good to the world just like spring brings new life after winter. These great beings have already crossed the vast and difficult ocean of worldly suffering, and without any selfish motive, they help others cross as well. It is their very nature to serve and uplift others. Just as the moon, by its own presence, cools the earth after the scorching heat of the sun, how it looks the illusion of bondage. Our life is filled with bondage, attachments, desires, and the results of our past actions or karma. What is this bondage and how did it begin? Where is it rooted and how can we free ourselves from it? The truth is that no one else can untie the knots of our desires and karma for us. Even after countless ages, we must take responsibility for our own liberation. No external practice, whether it be yoga, philosophy, good deeds, or mere intellectual knowledge, can bring true freedom. Liberation comes only through the direct realization that the Atma, our true self, and Brahma, the supreme reality, are one. There is no other way. So just talking about Brahma does not lead to liberation. If someone only says the word Brahma but does not experience it, what is the result? Just a sound, mere noise. Imagine a man who wants to be king. He cannot become one just by saying I am a king. He must first defeat his enemies, seize the throne, and rule his kingdom. Similarly, a person who wants spiritual liberation must actively remove ignorance, overcome worldly distractions, and experience the truth directly. A hidden treasure is not found by merely saying, "Come forth." One must follow the right directions, dig deep, remove the layers of dirt and stone, and then claim it as their own. In the same way, the truth of the Atma is buried under Maya, illusions, and the effects of past conditioning. It can only be uncovered through meditation, contemplation, and following the guidance of an enlightened teacher. Remember, not by empty discussions or intellectual arguments. Therefore, the wise do not wait for someone else to free them. Just as a sick person takes medicines to heal his own body, a seeker must make every effort to liberate himself from the suffering of the world. No one else can do it for him. True wisdom is realizing that the path to freedom lies in our own hands, and we must walk it with determination and sincerity. This is the way to peace, truth, and ultimate liberation. We will conclude this video with a heartfelt prayer to the Guru, seeking his grace and blessings for true knowledge to enter our lives. Let us come together and offer our sincere prayers for the Guru's guidance and wisdom. Guru, or Master, friend of all devotees, I bow down before you. O boundless compassion, I have fallen into the sea of the world. Save me with those steadfast eyes which shed grace like nectar never ending. I am burning in the blaze of the world forest, which no man can extinguish. Evil deeds out of the past drive me like huge winds, hither and thither. I am full of fear. I have taken refuge in you. Save me from death. I know no other shelter. Master, I am consumed by the scorching heat of this worldly life, as by the flames of a forest fire. Blessed are they on whom your eye rests even for a moment. It is thus that you accept them and make them your own. How shall I cross the ocean of this world? What should be my goal? What way should I take? I know of none. Be gracious, Master, save me. Tell me how to end the miseries of this earthly life. Withhold nothing.